But let's look at what we have for you. We have the land between. We have orphaned. Deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. Dragonfly. And Cancer energy. Okay. All right. Looking at this, it's really clear to me something is jumping out right away. You are actually someone who oftentimes feels like you are between two different worlds. So what this means is the veil for you is very, very thin. And what I mean by that is the veil between this earth realm, this earth plane, and planes and dimensions beyond the 3D is very thin for you. So how this manifests for you is you actually have the ability to communicate with souls that have crossed over. I don't want you to get freaked out if this isn't a skill that you want to develop. Don't feel any pressure to do that. But for a lot of you, you may have already felt some of these abilities being triggered. This may be something that you are well aware of and actually practice and have developed. But if not, this might just be something that you've kind of known in the back of your mind was an ability of yours. And at times it may have even been unwanted. So when I look at this, I see you as what I would call a bridge. You're kind of that area in between two different lands that brings them together. I think this image on this card kind of does the trick in explaining that. So we have these bridges here, and I would really describe you as the bridge itself. Some of you may be interested in mediumship, or maybe even practice and skilled in mediumship. I think this would come very naturally to you because you're able to sense the feelings and emotions of those around you, and that even extends into the spirit world. Okay, that can be kind of a lot for some of you, but your ability to communicate with spirits and to actually gain knowledge from other dimensions and other realms is vast. You are naturally gifted when it comes to this. You may be someone who sees spirits, who knows you can communicate with spirits. You may have seen apparitions in the room, in the dark, and like sometimes people have these experiences where they've seen something that startled them. So this could be something that has happened to you. You've seen an image, you've seen a shadow. It happens a lot at night. Maybe you've had one of these experiences, and it could have freaked you out. It could have made you kind of push this ability, this gift to the side, because it can be quite scary. I think for you, spirits try to get your attention a lot. I'm not getting a sense that there's any negative entities around you, so please don't worry so much about that. I think it's more that your spirit guides, or maybe loved ones who have crossed over, do try to get your attention a lot of the time. And they might do that by appearing to you. They might do that by speaking to you. So it might be difficult for you to distinguish the thoughts, like your own thoughts, from maybe some of the voices of your spirit guides sometimes. I think what's most important here, and probably your biggest spiritual gift, is clairsentience. So you are actually someone who feels. You feel very deeply, you feel very emotionally, and you can pick up on energies through feeling. So this is actually the case for spirits and for humans that you're occupying space with. So this is where it can get a little bit tricky, because you're someone who picks up on the energy of others so easily that it can actually be draining sometimes. It can be kind of emotional and sad sometimes, depending on what the person's energy is. So it's definitely something to consider, that when you're in a room full of people, you're going to be able to pick up on sense and actually feel what they're feeling. I think that in that case, making sure that you have your energy protected and that you are kind of replenishing yourself. This card, deep replenishment, came up. So this is a definite sign that at times you need to take a little bit of a step back and kind of regroup, kind of replenish your energy, get in touch with your own energy again, because I think your energy can get a little bit mixed up with the energies of those around you at times. And I do think that with clairsentience, it's a little bit tricky for people sometimes, because feelings are even harder to distinguish than some of the other indications that we might get of sensing other energies. So when you just have a feeling come over you, it's very difficult to distinguish if that is your own feeling or someone else's feeling. So it is important for you to take time away from people and really get in touch with what your own energy is like and what you're feeling, and just really kind of recenter yourself. Shielding your energy is also going to be really important for you. I wouldn't suggest shielding your energy so much so that you like lose your ability to sense things. But if it does become overwhelming for you, that could be something to consider, a little bit of energy shielding before you interact with people. So with this Orphan card coming out, I am picking up on the fact that this gift that you have has made you at times feel like you don't fit in. It makes you feel like a little bit of an outsider sometimes, and I think that's just because balancing your energy and the energy of those around you, keeping your emotions in check when you feel everything so deeply, can be difficult for you. So you may have felt the desire to kind of pull back, pull away, and that makes you feel like a bit of an outsider. I think that because you are sitting in this place that's between two very different worlds, it can make you feel like you're not really sure which world you fit in. Do you fit into this 3D world, or do you fit into the other dimensions and elements that you're able to tap into? I think that's something that you may have questioned a lot. It's really important to figure out what nourishes you, because straddling two worlds can be really exhausting. So doing this exercise in replenishment, resting, and allowing yourself to feel like you are held, to feel like you do belong, whether that's finding a group of people that can help you to feel that way, or if it's just having a sense of belonging in yourself as you take a little bit of time for yourself. I think this is a beautiful gift you've been given. I do see the struggle though. I see that it can really drain your spirit, and it can leave you questioning a lot of things. With this dragonfly here, dragonflies for me are all about spirit. So I think that your connection to the spirit world is strong, is very, very strong. And I think that you have just an amazing clarity when it comes to sensing spirits, receiving messages from spirits, and maybe even in mediumship like we were talking about. I think you are very gifted in that area. Dragonflies also make me think of fairies. So you may have a deep connection to the fae. You may just be drawn to maybe stories, imagery, movies that feature fairies. But beyond that, I think that you are someone who probably has a love for plants and gardening. So this might not be something that you've discovered, but maybe you've noticed that you feel a little bit more replenished or revitalized when you are in nature, when you are around a lot of vegetation. Maybe you even feel a special connection to trees. I know for some people, they can kind of feel like they can almost communicate with trees, especially very large, older trees. It's like you walk by them and they're kind of emanating a message. So you would definitely be somebody who would be able to pick up on that. So yeah, you might just feel drawn to plants. You might not know why. Maybe you like to keep plants in your house and just care for them, and you just think they're beautiful, but really I think what it's doing for you is replenishing and nourishing your spirit. So that's one of the ways that you kind of combat the draining energy that takes place because of this clairsentience. If you have not picked up on that, and if you are someone who feels drained a lot of the time, especially after being in social situations, maybe try that. Maybe try incorporating a little bit more plant life into your life. Maybe just get a small plant and, you know, keep it somewhere in your home, or spend more time outside, walk through a garden. So that's just something I think would really help you, and probably something you already know. There's actually a lot of wildlife and vegetation on this Cancer card, so that's interesting. We have the crab here as well, but it's all kind of incorporated into all of these flowers and stems and leaves. It's actually a very beautiful image, and I think that that really speaks to this part of you that feels replenished and nourished around plants. So I think that you really may love to garden, and some of you may also love to cook. Kind of picking up on this, I'm really seeing you as quite a healer. So I think that what you are able to do quite naturally is tap into the feelings and emotions of those around you. And you really have such a caring heart and a caring spirit that what you want to do is bring balance to those around you. So you feel their emotions quite deeply. I think this orphaned card really illustrates it quite nicely. If someone was feeling deep sorrow, this is how you would feel inside. This is also a number 5, which is all about change and instability. So I think that that can sometimes come up for you. It can be an abrupt change and can kind of throw you off balance when you're around someone, and then you start to pick up on their energy and you start to feel what they're feeling, and you might not know exactly why you're feeling that way. I think that when it comes to your method of healing people, you might be somebody who's into herbal medicine, into herbal remedies, or maybe just into cooking and feeding people to make them feel better, to make them feel like their spirit is being nourished, or there might actually be medicinal properties in some of your preparations, whether that's actually a medicinal preparation or if it's just dinner. I think a lot of you connect through food and through plants, through herbal medicine and through natural remedies. I think that's your way of caring for people. You definitely have the gift of extreme empathy. And like we were talking about, that means that you're absorbing the energy of others and that you're feeling everything that they're feeling very deeply. This Cancer card with immerse on it, that's kind of what it's like for you. You immerse yourself in the energy of others. There's a very watery energy coming through here from all of your cards. Even this dragonfly, which is air energy, has this blue triangle behind it, and kind of makes me think of how dragonflies are drawn to the water and kind of hover right over the water. There's a deep emotional aspect to your energy and to the gifts that you've been given. You may be a water sign, but if you are not a water sun sign, you might have it somewhere else in your chart, or you might just be a deeply emotional person and just be a deeply feeling and empathetic person. I think you've also been given the gift of mercy, and that just really means that you are sensitive to those who are suffering. You might be someone who has suffered in the past. Maybe sometimes even in the present you feel like you are suffering, and I think it's just something you can really relate to the way that other people are feeling. And the most powerful thing that I'm getting off of your cards is really just the fact that you feel that so deeply, and then you want to help and you want to heal people, and I think that's really, really beautiful. So what we're going to do is take a look at your tarot cards to kind of figure out why this gift is a blessing, what might be challenging about this gift. We already talked about some of the challenges with balancing out your energy and kind of keeping your energy separate from the energy of those around you. And then we're going to look at how you can further develop this gift or these gifts. We've talked about several gifts here with you, actually. We had clairsentience come through. You may be gifted in mediumship. You are definitely gifted in feeling and sensing what others are feeling. You may be a healer at heart, and you might use herbs or plants or just any kind of food to heal people. And we talked about the gift of empathy and of mercy. So that's actually a lot of things going on here. So let's look at your tarot cards. So this first card is going to kind of show us why this gift is a blessing. And this can be to you or to others. So we have the Five of Emotions coming out. This is more water energy. This is cups energy. So it's kind of right in line with everything that we've been discussing. I think that really the reason that this gift is a blessing, and this is mainly a blessing to other people, although you may be able to exercise this ability in your own life. I think what happens as you are tapping into the energy of people and feeling what they're going through is you kind of assist people in like getting over things. So I think you end up feeling their emotions very deeply, but what you're really doing is assisting them in processing through those emotions and moving on. So it's almost like you hold a mirror up to people and situations and you kind of show exactly what needs to be healed. And then I think in your case, you might take it even a step further to try to facilitate that healing in any way that you can, whether that's just holding space for people, just maybe having long conversations with them to help them process through their emotions. But I think what's really happening when you're doing this is you're helping them to kind of drop their emotions, drop the feelings, and be able to move forward. So you're really providing a space where you can validate the emotions of others, and you do that by feeling those emotions right along with them. And that really helps them to put things behind them and to move forward. And I think on the topic of mediumship, if that is an aspect of this this gifting that you would like to explore, if that's something that you already do explore, I think that this idea of processing and being able to move on translates very nicely into this idea of mediumship, because you are able to pick up on the feelings of others, and that extends to the spirit realm. And I think in some cases you're able to help spirits clear unresolved issues, unresolved emotions, so that they are able to move on and not continue to be tethered to the 3D. So this is a very important gift that you've been given, and there are a lot of ways you can use this gift, even if you choose to only kind of use this gift in a more 3D way. If you're not interested in communicating with spirits, or you just don't think that that part is speaking to you, you're definitely helping people to move on, to move forward, to process through emotions. I think most importantly, you're giving people and even spirits a voice. You're really validating them. You're bringing those emotions to the surface and letting them be aired out and processed. That is definitely a blessing. You are definitely a blessing to all the people around you. Anyone who comes in contact with you is blessed. We're going to move into the challenges, and we did already talk about it maybe being challenging for you to play that role. And I acknowledge that. It might be challenging for you to feel the emotions of others, but the blessing in this is that you are able to help so many people process and move forward with their lives. And maybe in the process of that, for some of you, maybe you kind of get an idea of how you can more easily process through these emotions and not hold on to those of others. Maybe even just process your own personal emotions more easily, the way you're able to help other people. So yeah, let's look at what might be challenging about this gift. Okay, we have the Three of Materials. So this is Pentacles energy. This is Earth energy. And I think really this might be exactly like what we were discussing. I think with this, because the Three of Pentacles talks about kind of collaboration and working together, I think really what's challenging for you is working with other people, is being near other people, being around large groups of people sometimes. And that's just because you are absorbing so much of their energy. It's not that you don't like people or that you don't like to be social. It's not that you can't have fun in social scenarios, but sometimes it can be draining for you. So it's really difficult for you to focus, to get anything done, to not feel overwhelmed and drained when you are in a social scenario. I think it's kind of hard to know whose energy you're feeling. Or you might go into a social situation and your energy just shifts, like just does a complete 180, and you're not sure why that happened. And that's because you're picking up on the energy of somebody around you, or sometimes a collection of energies around you. And it can be overwhelming, or it can feel uncomfortable, because other people's emotions don't always fit, you know, especially if they just come out of nowhere. It's just like somebody just threw a new outfit on us that isn't our size. And it's like, where did that come from? I wouldn't have picked this. I wouldn't have worn this. It doesn't match. You know, it's like, it can be abrupt, it can be sudden, it can be jolting sometimes in social scenarios. So yeah, that can be a bit of a challenge for you. And now we're going to look at how you can develop this gift even more if you want to. And we have the Devil, number 15. Okay, that's really interesting energy. Okay, with the Devil card, I think what this is really saying is, it's kind of a message to you to not expect instant gratification when you do try to develop this skill. So this might be something that you've known about in the past. Like, you may have had a little bit of an inkling that you are gifted in these areas, that maybe you are clairsentient, that maybe you are a medium, maybe you are a really clear channel, and maybe you are picking up on the energies of others. You may have had an inkling, but then if you've done something to maybe research more about that, or practice and develop this skill, and it didn't seem like it went anywhere, then you kind of just give up and kind of shove that inkling aside. So the Devil energy can talk a lot about instant gratification and like searching for instant gratification over long-term success and something more solid. And I think that that's a little bit of a message from your guides, which honestly, I don't feel like I need to give you that many messages from your guides, because I think that you have the ability to tap into messages from your guides on your own. But really, I think this is a bit of a message to kind of stick with this and really put in the time to develop it if that's what you choose to do, because it's not going to happen instantly. You're not going to notice that you're taking huge leaps and bounds instantly. It's going to be something like more of a gradual process, something you have to develop like any skill. So I think it's really a message to not keep running away from it, to not keep kind of like thinking, oh, I'm no good. It would be like you sit down in front of a piano for the very first time and you try to play a song and it sounds terrible, so you decide, I suck at piano and I should never play again. You know, it's not going to work like that. It would take a lot of practicing. It would take daily practicing. It would take years of practice to reach the level that you want. And you'll see improvement if you stick with it and don't worry about sitting down and playing a beautiful piece right from the beginning when you have absolutely no knowledge and no skill in that area. This Devil card could also be a little bit of a reminder that some dependencies that you may have might weaken your abilities. So if you do want to develop these abilities, if you do want to become a clearer channel, if you want to be able to connect with and tap into the feelings of others more easily, certain habits that you have in your life may be hindering that. So it might be something as simple as caffeine. Like, maybe drinking 5 cups of coffee a day kind of like puts you in a different state of mind and you're not able to tap in as easily, or you're more likely to become frustrated when you are hyped up on caffeine, or maybe when you drink a lot of alcohol, maybe that weakens your abilities to kind of tap in or to have clarity about what you're tapping into. So this can really talk about any sort of dependency. It can be alcohol, it can be drugs, it can be any kind of stimulant or depressant that you are familiar with taking or habitually taking that's kind of blocking your ability. It can also be dependencies in behavior too. It can be certain people that you hang around with that do not help to strengthen this. So it's a matter of looking at your habits, and most likely ones that you already know do not go in line with these abilities and don't strengthen these abilities. Some of these things you may have actually used to numb yourself, because maybe maybe the challenges of having this sort of ability become too much sometimes. So it might be something like, well, I like to have a drink or two when I go into a social situation because I can feel very uncomfortable in that social situation, and that helps me. So it might be something like that. In that case, it's like, you know that it doesn't help this. That's in fact the reason that you participate in it, because you use it as a little bit of a way to numb yourself and to kind of turn this, to intentionally turn these abilities off. So it's probably something you already know, and this is just a reminder, if you did want to strengthen these abilities, what to kind of stay away from. And this is also a bit of a reminder to look on the bright side and to kind of realize how difficult it can be when you're sorting through so many different energies. So be a little bit positive. The Devil card often kind of makes me realize that negative thought patterns don't help the situation. So if you are thinking very negatively about your gifts, or if you are only thinking about the negative aspects of the gifts that you've been given, this is a bit of a reminder to look on the brighter side of that, and to really accept, acknowledge, and appreciate the abilities that you've been given, because they won't be strengthened by having kind of a negative outlook on them. So I think that's all I have for you. This was actually really beautiful, and a lot of gifts and abilities came through for you. So I hope this was helpful and insightful. If you did enjoy this reading, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And if you feel like subscribing, please do that. I would love to have you here. I will see you in your next reading. Bye.